Welcome back to Movie Idol. So in this video, I want to talk about the final scene of the season 9 finale, which featured someone, or I guess a woman, speaking on this radio. Who was it? Well, I want to discuss what Angela Kang had to say about it and also give my thoughts on 4 possibilities because I really only think it's going to be out of these 4. And then I'm just going to give my overall thoughts as to what I think it's probably going to be afterwards. So first, just to recap, the final scene of the season 9 finale featured Ezekiel speaking with Judith. Once Ezekiel left the room, I guess some sort of transmission or just something was cutting into that radio, and you can't really make it out if you're just listening. You really can't. You got to have subtitles on and whatnot, or closed caption. And what was said was, first of all, it's a woman. It confirms that it's a woman, and it says, "Hello, hello," calling out live on the open air. Is anybody out there? So whoever this was heard Ezekiel talking, Ezekiel or Judith, I'm guessing probably Ezekiel, and was like, hello, hello, calling out live on the open air. Is anybody out there? I want to touch on the Commonwealth thing really quick. I'll go into it more in depth a little bit after because I do think there's issues with it if it is the Commonwealth. But first, the one thing that kind of supports this being the Commonwealth, and it is kind of stupid, but is the fact that Eugene almost says that word for word. It's not word for word, but I don't remember exactly what he says, but he does use the words open air, and it is kind of like hello, calling out live on open air. Or he's like, hello, I'm Eugene, I'm calling out this and that. Is anybody out there? It's roughly the same thing. He's using the words open air, which I know anybody can just use those words, but that right there to me is just making me wonder if it's Commonwealth related. And Angela Kang actually isn't really even saying anything. Like throughout all the interviews that I've found online and even on Talking Dead, basically to sum it up, she's saying, we welcome the speculation. We will explain who this is in season 10. We will get into all of that. We will explore the world of The Walking Dead because it's going to keep opening up more and more. She says things like who's going to be out there and like what do they want, and basically she's just kind of ignoring it, and she wants people to speculate and theorize all summer, which I guess that is kind of the appropriate cliffhanger, right? Like this is something like a cliffhanger is something that's kind of, it should be sort of unexpected, and there should only be a cliffhanger if the story building up to it was paid off. So it was just something on top of it. If your payoff is the cliffhanger, that's where the issue is, right? So that's why right now it's kind of fun speculating because it's just kind of, it came out of nowhere. So let's discuss the Rick Grimes thing because I know a lot of people are going to be wondering about that. Is this connected to Rick? And I think that's the that's the favorite one out there. Actually, I think the radio woman being Maggie is the most popular from what I remember. I mean, most people would think it was Maggie because in the season 9 finale early on, Michonne asked Yumiko, has Maggie been getting any of the letters or whatever? And then at the end, we hear this woman talking on the radio. If you're just TV only fans, you're probably thinking, yeah, it has to be Maggie, right? Like she's been missing. People have been sending her letters. She's not responding. Yeah, it makes sense that it probably would be Maggie. And I do think with Maggie, there is a high chance that it could be her. Now, obviously, it's not Lauren Cohen. So whoever this was, they just got someone else to do that because maybe they didn't figure out exactly what it's related to yet. Or maybe it's like Georgie or it's someone related to Maggie because obviously, like for that voice, they didn't get Lauren Cohen or the lady that plays Georgie. They're just going to get someone else because otherwise that ending would be spoiled through casting and whatnot. The thing is, too, is Maggie and the Commonwealth could also be related right now. That's the big thing is Maggie, we know like her goal and what she's planning to do right now is to help Georgie help other communities. So her, Georgie, and those twins and whoever else is out there now or right now, and they're helping out other communities. That's kind of what the Commonwealth do in a sense, but they more just like force their leadership sort of thing onto others. And Georgie, I guess, wasn't that, right? Because it's been how many years now? Almost 8 years since the end of All Out War, and Georgie hasn't asked for anything in return from the hilltop. So the Georgie thing is just really weird. That was something that Gimple introduced in episode, I don't know, I can't remember what episode it was, but at the end of season 8, that just came out of nowhere. She's just this random old lady that's traveling around. She has these blueprints to the key to the future, and she just wants to help everybody out. Maggie kept in touch with her, which, by the way, I'm a little confused on this. How are they keeping touch with them? Who is sending these letters? It's not like the post office is working. I don't think they're sending ravens, right? So how the hell are they sending letters? Am I missing something here? But the Maggie thing is definitely a possibility just because it has been rumored that she's going to be back in season 10. I'm going to do a video talking about the Lauren Cohen situation at some point this week just because we have sort of an update on Whiskey Cavalier because it does seem to be close to cancellation. But there's sort of a weird thing where it's like, well, even though it's close to cancellation, Lauren Cohen, if she does return to the show, she's not going to be a series regular. So there's something off there. But like I said, I'm going to get into this a little bit more later. But it seems like for sure they're trying to work something out right now with Lauren Cohen. And she seems like she's very optimistic about coming back. Angela Kang is very optimistic about her coming back. It's just a matter of really just when and how they can work it out scheduling wise. So this could be a tease for Maggie. It definitely could be. I could see her coming back in season 10. But again, she wouldn't be a series regular. She could still be a part of the show and definitely still have a huge role, but I don't see her coming back in the first half of season 10. It's going to be a second half thing, and it depends on Whiskey Cavalier and I guess what they can work out besides that. Now, I want to talk about the Commonwealth, and then after this, we'll get into the Jadis Rick thing and then the Fear thing. But with the Commonwealth, the reason why I don't want it to be the Commonwealth is because I just think it's a little too soon for that kind of stuff. And that's more just a preference for me personally. I know it happens at this exact point in the comics. It does. It really, really does. And there's also a part of me that is a little disappointed in the Commonwealth arc right now because it's not really going anywhere. There was some big moments. There was a big death recently that came out of nowhere. That really blew me away. And there's other moments related to another character that was introduced very, very early on. So there's really cool things they could do with this arc at the very beginning, but just where they're going with it right now, I just don't really see the point, and I also don't really care. So if this is the Commonwealth thing, I don't honestly care about it. And the reason why I kind of think of it as a bad thing is because it's going to overshadow what is going on with the Whisperer arc. The Whisperers, I'm really loving their arc right now. It's kind of sinister, but the season 9 finale ended with our characters losing, right? Like Alpha created that border, killed 10 of their people, and that's just that. Now they're not fighting back. They're too scared to cross the border. Carol seems like she wants to fight back a little bit, but they're just following her rules. They're just going to stay away. They literally lost. Henry, Enid, and Tara, Ozzy, all of them, they kind of died for nothing, right? And so I really want to see what they do with that in season 10. And Angela King has promised that the season 10 premiere is going to have a lot of interesting things. She's going to try to do certain things that she hasn't done before. Like she's just getting really, really crazy. And I'm excited because this season, I can't believe how much she fit into this season. It's insane. But to have this Commonwealth arc, to constantly be wondering about this, if it ends up being Stephanie from the Commonwealth and Ezekiel, or maybe it is Eugene communicating with her, we're always going to be wondering about that because it's this weird sci-fi thing. It's this weird, just like otherworldly thing. It's connected to something just bigger than what's going on right now, or at least it's going to feel that way. And it will be, because if it's the Commonwealth, they're a community of 50,000 people. That is a lot of people. And they have like these stormtrooper like outfits. Like the title New World Order, which was the first arc for the Commonwealth story, definitely fits. But again, this is just that's getting into it a little bit too soon. This is going to be season 11 stuff. None of that's going to happen until season 11. I'm pretty confident in that. But just having this radio thing taking away from the Whisperer arc, it's just going to be a little annoying, only because it's a story that's going to be taking place in season 11. That's the only reason why it's annoying. If it was something related to a reveal happening in season 10, or maybe they're mixing the Commonwealth with the Whisperers at the same time, then I would be a little more interested. But if you guys have read the comics, I don't see how they could even really make that work. Now, there's two other ways they could make it work. The Maggie thing could be the case, that really could, but with these two options, I would really, really like. And one, was the woman speaking on the radio Jadis? Could that be Jadis? It didn't sound like Jadis to me personally, but it doesn't necessarily have to be her. It could be someone related to her, right? Like she had a lot of people with her. Wherever she went, like this community seems to be really, really stocked up. They have a lot of resources. They have a lot of supplies. If you watched the Fear the Walking Dead season 5 trailer yesterday, there's actually a shot of Alicia and Morgan on the ground. And in the trailer, there's like wind blowing against them, which to me could be a helicopter either landing or I guess going up, right? Remember, Scott Gimple said that early on in season 5, there's going to be some big storyline that's going to be connecting to a bigger character in the Walking Dead universe and how it affects that character's story and whatnot. And obviously, I think he's referring to Rick Grimes there. Combine that with this airplane shot here. I'm thinking it's connected. I'm thinking wherever they're at, it's connected to the helicopter that picked up Rick. It's connected to all the various helicopters we've been seeing throughout the entire series of The Walking Dead, going back to season 1. So the last one on it being potentially a Fear character, I think it could be a mix of both of them. I think it could be a mix of it being a Fear character, but maybe it's still tied to the Rick Grimes story just because of what they said here, right? Like, I think there's some sort of connection here. I really do believe that. Gimple did tease that this week at some point there's going to be some sort of announcement, or at least Undead Walking hinted at Gimple saying that there might be a major crossover announcement coming this week. To me, that's really weird. Like, what major crossover event? Like, it makes no sense. Would they actually take another Walking Dead character and make them go to Fear the Walking Dead? I just don't see how that really works, just because timeline-wise, everything is all messed up right now. But what they could do is end Fear the Walking Dead and have Fear the Walking Dead transition over to The Walking Dead. There could be something in relation to that. Like maybe that's what he's hinting at here, is that there's actually going to be a Fear character going to The Walking Dead And that's what we heard here on this radio. It's sort of an Easter egg, or I guess a tease as to that storyline in season 10, right? I mean, all of these theories really sound good. If it's going to be Jadis related or Rick related, or if it's Maggie related, or if it's Commonwealth related, or Fear the Walking Dead related, there's proof for all of them. They could really go in either direction. None of them really sound too ridiculous, to be honest. The Commonwealth is the most logical because it happens like that in the comics. And personally, for me, I wouldn't want that to be the case, but who knows? Maybe it's connected to all four of these things. Maybe Rick is connected with the Commonwealth. Maybe they're making the Commonwealth version on the show just much bigger than it is in the comics, right? And maybe the Fear characters are still tied to it. Maybe Maggie's tied to it. Maybe it's all four of these options, and there's this big, huge entity out there, and that's what they're calling the Commonwealth. I have no idea. I sound insane right now theorizing about all this shit, but post your thoughts down below. What do you guys think? Whose voice was on the radio? Like, what do you think it's connected to? Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.